committee to order in just a minute. Thank you. Hi, good morning. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Mr. Villanueva, can you please call the roll?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Councilmember Hernandez,
Here.
Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Hutt.
Here.
You have 2 members and a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. We can now open up public comment. Mr. Villanueva, please read the public comment instructions, and then we'll take the first person.
Yeah, the public who would like to sign up for multiple agenda items will be given 2 minutes. And if you want to sign up for public comment, you'll be given an extra minute.
First, we'll call
Wonderful. First, we'll call Laura Velke. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Laura Velke, and I serve on the board of Arts District Community Council. On behalf of my board, I'm here to express full
Ms.
support.
Velke, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you please let us know what items you'll be speaking on this morning?
I was just about to say it.
Thank you.
On behalf of my board, I'm here to express our full support for item number 2, Council File 230074, for the use of Prop K LA for Kids funding for the 6th Street Park. ADCCLA has worked tirelessly for over a decade to help secure open public park space for a community surrounded by density and concrete. Excuse me. The timing has never been more critical to create spaces in urban environments. ADCCLA was instrumental in the advocacy of this park and worked with our colleagues at La Raba to support a bridge project that would bring a 12-acre park into the collective communities of Boyle Heights and the Arts District. We are immensely proud of that effort and the connections we have created with our Boyle Heights neighbors. We are deeply grateful to CD14 staff who have worked by our side since the beginning of the project. Staff has been instrumental in finding the resources to make this park happen under incredibly hostile conditions, and we are hopeful that the sins of leadership do not continue to penalize the communities that have persevered in spite of them. We request the Prop K Funds Committee report be supported by your committee and move to council with a recommendation to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Velke. Next, we have Charles Leon. If you could please let us know what item you're speaking on, Mr. Leon.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of this committee. My name is Charles Leon, and I'm with SCIU Local 721. And I'm before you this morning for item 4 to express to you my support for James Johnson to the Board of Animal Services. I first met James Johnson in August of 2008, and since then, I've always looked at him and the guidance from when I first got started in the labor movement and the experience that he was bringing. And so there are no words I can share this morning that could fully express what James Johnson has meant to me personally and professionally. And when I learned about today's meeting, I wanted to come here to show my support, and his involvement with the City of Los Angeles is an absolute immense asset. And it's going to be great for this community. It's going to be great for the objectives of the Board of Animal Services. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leon. Thank you. There are no more participants in the queue for public comment, and so public comment is now closed. Members, if there are no objections or questions, I would like to continue items 16, 17, and 18. Thank you so much, Council Member. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and move on to the consent calendar. Members, if there are no objections or questions, I would like to take items 3 through 15 and 19 through 21 on consent.
I see no objections, but should we have those folks stand?
We can give them a minute to do that. We can do the consent and then give them time. Yeah, that'd be good. Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Villanueva, can you please call the roll for these items?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Councilmember Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Hott.
Aye.
Two members approve, and all the consent items have been approved, Madam Chair.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Villanueva. If possible, if there are any of the ones that we just moved forward, the appointees, if they're here and they would like to speak, can we do that now before we go to the next items? Okay, wonderful. Would any of our new commissioners like to give us a brief comment this morning? Thank you. Right here, wherever, right there's perfect, yeah. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Council Whitman. Renata Semro, recently appointed to, well, soon to be appointed to the Park and Recreation and Parks Commission. And I just wanted to say thank you. It's a pleasure to serve the city. I worked after the civil unrest in council, and then also had the honor of serving as Deputy Mayor for Economic Development and Housing. I currently am the president and CEO of the L84 Foundation, the legacy of the 1984 Olympic Games, and for 40 years we've been investing in coaching education, youth sports, learn to swim programs through Parks Foundation. And so to be able to come and serve in a capacity as a Recreation and Parks Commission is a great honor, and I look forward to ensuring that we're leveling the playing field and providing community access for our park and recreation facilities in your district as well as citywide. So just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you so much. Miss Macbeth Featherstone or Mr. Johnson, Fiona, if anybody would like to come in, great, go ahead. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So Allison Macbeth Featherstone. I am honored to be soon appointed to the commission. 11 years in animal rescue, 6 years with the Park Mesa Heights Community Council, where the last 2.5 I've been the vice president, property and business owner in South LA, and just been active in the community for the last 12 years. So I am happy to see change, bring change, and do whatever we need to do to help the animals and the people of LA. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. James Johnson. It's an immense honor to be here this morning. I used to ride my bike to City Hall when I was like 14 years old. I met Olivia Mitchell when I was like 16, 17. I came here for a symposium on politics and government out of Dorsey High School in 1980, and in one way or another, I've never left. Just working to try to make the city better. My dad came here in 1959 with $100 and was able to raise a family as a single dad. Our mom passed away when we were 13 and 12 years old, and the city means everything to us. And so for me to be able to give back in not only trying to organize folks to fight for what they need, what they want, but I have new passions. When you get a little older, you get new passions, and my new passions are my animals, and I know that they're safe, and I want the animals that are under our care to be just as safe. And that's the reason why I'm here. I know this building. I know that budget and finance gonna weigh in on what's going down in terms of how we provide funding for this department, but also the accountability that's absolutely critical, making sure that there's a process that is transparent around the hiring process of our new GM. One of the great things, I'll end with this, is that I know a survey is going out to the workers, because if you spend 60, 70% of your budget paying folks, you should figure out vehicles to listen to them about what they think should be done. Don't mean you have to do it all, but y'all to listen. Labor management, figuring that out. It's 2023, and we got to be about that, because this is too important. And so I'm grateful for the mayor's appointment, but even more important, to get to work. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for you both and excited for you to be joining that commission. You know, we've had our tours, we've had some conversations, because animals are super important to a lot of us. So very grateful that y'all will be joining in. Please, welcome. Thank you. Hi, good morning.
My name is Fiona Hutton. First of all, I am the proud owner of Lily, who came from the East Valley Shelter. So I am a shelter mom of several dogs. I am a nominee for Parks and Rec and Parks. really excited to be here. I'm an empty nester now, other than my little furry friends, and I've sat on several boards, statewide and local regional, and I felt really passionate that it was time that I did a pretty big investment in helping serve the city and help with the policies and that you and the mayor would like to implement. I have a deep background in parks, water, and natural resources. Of note, I ran the campaigns for all the statewide ballot measures that provided funding that the city is tapping into a lot at Rec and Park, so Prop 12, 13, 40, 50, 84, and 68. So I have a long history in open space, parks, and like I said, natural resources, and it's really exciting for me to sort of take that statewide expertise and help bring that down locally, and improve access to some great programming that you guys are doing at the city level, as well as enhance park space. So thank you. I appreciate the support, and I'm really looking forward to supporting you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hutton. Would any of our zoo commissioners, cultural affair commissioners, or any other new commissioners want to take a moment to introduce yourselves to our committee? You're welcome to.
Good morning. Kathy Unger, and I'm a nominee for the Cultural Affairs Commission. And it's really a pleasure as a lifelong Angelino, second generation, to see and to hope to expand art all over the city, not just in certain parts of the city, but all over the city. And I currently am on the board of Planned Parenthood Los Angeles, and I'm active in a lot of other civic affairs, and it is my honor to be able to serve. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, council members, and city staff. My name is Luis Sanchez. I've been appointed to the Rec and Parks Commission. This will be my second go-around. I served in the late 2000s, from 2007 to 2012. But for me, parks have always been central to even, as I think about my experience as a young person. I grew up playing places like Wabash on the east side, El Hoyo, which is now a better park in Boyle Heights, right? Playing baseball and football. And so they were always a place of solace and a place of safety for me and my family. And so for me, it's always about how do we center equity in our park spaces. Part of my first go around the commission was ensuring that we expanded access to green space and pools that people on the east side, mid-city, South LA, Pacoima didn't have the same access to, right? So thinking about how we do continue to build on that. But more importantly, I think the equity piece should be central to any of the work that we do across the city, and who are the folks who are most impacted, who need access to green space and access to our services, and how do we kind of work to expand that as a city, because that's how we're going to bring safety and deal with all the interconnected issues that are impacting our families. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for coming and speaking. Appreciate you all for letting us know a little bit about you. I'm going to go ahead and move us on with the agenda, if that's okay. Ms. Ramirez, can we go ahead and move to item number 1? And if you can, please read that item into the record.
Yes. Item 1, City Administrative Officer and City Attorney reports relative to acceptance of grant awards for $3,447,033 from the State of California Department of Justice for the period from January 1, 2023 through June 30, 2026 for the Los Angeles Decreasing Adolescent Tobacco Access Program.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ramirez. Can we have Selena Porras and Kyle Kirkpatrick come up to answer some questions, please? Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Morning, Madam Chair, council members, city staff.
Councilmember Hutt, do you have any questions on this item? Or any comments you want to plug in?
No, not on item 1, no.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilmember Hutt. I have a few questions I would like to ask about this program. Thank you, Selena and Kyle, for being here today and to answer those questions. My first question is, through this program, are participants expected to pay in any way to participate?
Good morning, Madam Chair and Committee. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and answer your questions. No, for this program, which is an online tobacco retailer education program, there would be no fee for the participants.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. My next question is about the tracking of participants. Will people who are diverted through this program be tracked in any way? Will they end up being tracked through any systems for LAPD or the county detention databases?
Thank you for that question. So this online tobacco retailer education program is a way for people that sell tobacco to kids unlawfully to be diverted away from the court system. So they would not be entered into the TCIS system, which is the Trial Court Information System, and instead they would be given this opportunity to take the online course from home, and upon completion of that course, then a case would not be filed against them, and it would not be in the system.
Thank you for these just great answers. I really appreciate that. Very clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Yes.
I have a question that has to do with the fees. Do the fees stay the same if they have been cited? Tobacco
Well, there are no
sellers?
fees. So for this particular grant, it's to fund a legal secretary position
Yeah.
that will serve as a case manager for people that are sent to this program, which is an online program. We sort of think of it like traffic school for tobacco violators. So they
Okay.
can handle their offense, again, outside of the court. And so there is no fee involved whatsoever.
No fee to you, but if they were cited with other fees, does this augment or to make a
They
reduction?
would not be cited with any fees, because a fee would be imposed hypothetically
Yeah.
if they were cited with a traditional ticket and sent to court, and then the court would impose a fee. Our process would happen before that, and our hope is to avoid court entirely. So there would never be an instance in which the court would get involved to assess a fee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, thank you so much, Chair, Councilmember Hutt. So just so I have clarity, the legal secretary then plays like a case manager role to make sure that people follow through and things like that?
Correct. We've
Okay.
seen from just experience that in order to increase compliance rates, people need assistance. We can't just give them a program and expect them to figure it out on their own. So we came up with the idea that they would have a real live person that they can have direct phone, direct email access to assist them and support them through completing the project.
Wonderful, thank you. Last question, how will this program be funded after the 4 years of this grant are up?
I'll take that one. This, as Selena has mentioned, this is Prop 56 funding, and so we anticipate that funding to continue. We've been successful in the past of receiving this funding. However, if we aren't successful, we do not apply for this funding in the future. We would have to make the decision if we were going to continue this portion of that program or not. If we are going to continue it, we would absorb it into our general funds. If not, there are some other funding revenues that we are able to tap into to be able to pay for this position in the future.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Do we have any more questions?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We appreciate you both for being here, for giving us very clear and digestible answers to our questions. And seeing as there are no more questions, Mr. Villanova, can you please call the roll?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Councilmember Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilmember Lee, Councilmember Hutt.
Aye.
2 ayes and the item is approved, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Villanova. Let's go ahead and move on to item 2. Ms. Ramirez, can you please read the item into the record?
Yes. Item 2, Proposition
Thank you
K.
so much for your time, for being here. Sorry about that, Ms. Ramirez.
Item 2, Proposition K, Alley for Kids Steering Committee report relative to the 6th Street Viaduct Park Arts and River Connectivity Construction Project.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. I'd like to call Nate Hayward from Council District 14 to come up to answer some questions, please.
Morning, Madam Chair and council members. Nate Hayward, Deputy Chief of Staff, Councilmember De Leon, District 14.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Hayward. Councilmember Heather Hutt, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Feel free to pop in, though, at any time if stuff comes up. Thank you. I have a couple questions. My first question is, what is the timeline on when funding would be approved from the various sources outlined in the report by the board and the council?
Which table specifically are you referring to, Madam Chair?
Give us 1 second.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I answer the right
Oh, no, you're
questions.
good. You're good.
Is it the page 5 ones?
It's the additional.
Oh, okay. It's on page 7.
It's R7.
It's R7, but it's where it says additional funding, so.
Okay,
that-
great.
That table.
Should I
Yeah.
just walk through each one?
Yes,
do that if
that'd
you
be
like.
great, yeah.
All right, so the AB 1290 is discretionary funds allocated to each council district. It just requires us to do a motion, which we have drafted and probably be introduced next week, and that goes on the next council agenda. The Pickle Works funding, that is currently, it was money already allocated to the project, but the project is federalized funds, the Pickle Works funds. So the first portion of that is going through, supposed to be in the last construction progress report this fiscal year, with the remainder going in next fiscal year and the first construction progress report. The $2 million in street improvement swap money, we're working on a report with DOT, Street Services, and Bureau of Engineering on all the 710 projects where we have to submit to Metro. But that funding is essentially at the discretion of the city. And there's not, Metro essentially will approve it if the city is in favor of it. The arts development fee money, that's money that the Department of Cultural Affairs every year prepares a report on arts development fees, which is funding that comes from the council district specifically for art projects in the area. That usually happens, I think, in November, December of each year. But a motion can be done at any time to move that up. Measure A, both those, the Department of Recreation and Parks is already starting conversations with the county on the process for specifically, basically you have to apply to funds to the county for Measure A funds. And these are funds that have already been allocated to CD 14. So it's just the process to the county. And sites and facilities is TBD, and that's really up to the any given budget year on whether money is allocated. Sorry, I hope that answers your questions.
Yes, no, it did, thank you. And can you be a little more specific on what the cultural affairs money will be used for?
Yes, so the cultural affairs money is going to be used for the Arts Plaza. There is going to be a plaza for performing arts on the west side of the LA River at the approach into the LA River. So the community and the Arts District community was very intent on having a place where community groups, all sorts of people can come and perform. So it's going to be going to fund the specific capital infrastructure needed, lights, sound, the sound booth, the steps where people are going to sit, et cetera.
It's outdoor, right?
Yes, it's outdoor.
Awesome.
But the booth, the sound equipment is in an indoor building, so.
Great, thank you, Mr. Hayward. My next and last question is about the gap in funding. It's my understanding that the $7.3 million deficit is not something that the city will be held liable for. However, like with many construction projects, when it gets to the last section of the work to be completed, we are often left with no choice but to provide the necessary funds for it to be completed. Aside from the list of sources provided in the report, how will it be ensured that the council is not left to utilize $7.3 million in general fund money to finalize this project?
Well, the city does have the opportunity. First, the Board of Public Works has language in their contracts that says that the city is only liable up to available funding for any given project, right? So that's the first portion. So theoretically, the city can say, we're not going to build the $7.3 million. It has that authority to do so. In terms of other funding sources, our office is looking at discretionary funds and other sources to minimize impacts on the general fund, whether it be future Quimby fees coming in or other grant opportunities that arise. So our goal, this money is not needed from a cash flow perspective till easily late, let's see, we're in 23-24 budget cycle, so it's the 24-25 budget cycle. So probably later in that cycle because it's going to take at least 2 years to build the project. So we feel confident that we can close that gap.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Howard, and thank you for being here. Councilwoman Heather Hutt, do you have any other questions? Thank you, Councilmember. Seeing as we have no more questions, Mr. Villanueva, can you please call the roll?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Lee? Councilmember Hutt?
Aye.
You have 2 ayes and the item is approved, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
for
you
being
so much,
here.
Madam Chair.
Appreciate you.
Council members.
Have a good day. Mr. Villanueva, is there anything else before the committee?
The desk is clear, Madam Chair.
Wonderful, thank you. Before we adjourn, I'd just like to thank everybody for being here. Also, our city family for being here so early and now being in person. So just thank you. Appreciate y'all. Phil and the team, y'all are awesome. Councilmember Heather Hutt, thank you. I know it's been an early morning, but we appreciate y'all, and this committee meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.